You know, if you've watched TV lately, anybody watch a show called Shark Tank?
Yep.
Have you seen Shark Tank? You know
Yeah.
the premise of the show?
Yep.
Yep.
Young inventors come in, young and old inventors. Inventors come in. Wow, that's on focus, isn't it? Let's see if I can fix that while we're on the actual here. There it is. So the inventor comes in, and the inventor pitches their invention. And the sharks, who are all like multiple bazillionaires, sit there and decide if they want to invest. Goodbye, I'm done. Okay, go ahead.
That's okay.
Welcome to a special presentation of Shark Tank. Don't worry if you're not familiar with the show, just follow our lead and have some fun with it. This is guaranteed to be unlike any other administrative council meeting we've ever had. All you seated around this table, look at all the committees, nice, nice. You're going to be the sharks. You're going to be given the task of weighing in on the idea of our presentation to the newest contestant in the show. Each of you is representing a committee or a group within our church's organization. All we ask is that you come to the table with an open mind, open hearts, and see what happens. Let's begin this journey together. Welcome to tonight's special edition of Shark Tank. Are all you sharks ready?
Yeah.
Yeah. All right. Are you ready to hear from our newest contestant?
Yes.
Oh, it says wait for the response.
Oh. Yes.
Looks like we're ready. Please join me in welcoming Deb and her teammates, Tammy and Jack. Come on out.
So good to see you tonight. So incredibly good to see you tonight. We are honored. Come right here.
We're honored.
Hello, sharks. We are humbled and honored to be here and to have an audience with you. We are so excited to share with you our idea of bringing new life to a church in your community. In order to set the stage, however, we'd like to feed you some bait. Okay? In hopes that you will chew on what we have to say and swallow. That's important. Tammy and Jack will, would you do the honors and pass out the refreshments to our
Exercise here.
Oh, sorry.
Wow, I didn't know I had it.
Okay, so remember, the idea here is to chew, swallow, and listen to what we have to say.
Thank you.
Okay?
Whoa.
It bounces.
Well,
It's rolling down here slowly.
Thank you.
Waters. Okay.
Some over there.
Okay.
dinner for some of you, I'm sure. Yeah, sorry. I got a vegetarian choice.
Chew on the bait.
Okay, sharks, are you ready? Have you taken the bait? Mm-hmm. And you're ready to chew, right? Okay. Here we go. Transport yourself to a place way far, far away. A place down under. A place called Australia.
Where'd you get that idea?
Tonight for this exercise, for the show, the exact location is a place called Port Douglas. And it is home to the Great Barrier Reef. Some of these have actually come from there. So Port Douglas the Great Barrier Reef is a breathtaking ocean habitat for majestic coral and schools of bright colored fish. And notice this is an angelfish, just pointing that out. Mm-hmm. Stingers, starfish, seahorse, and yes.
Sorry.
Sharks.
Oh, you were the shark.
Oh, I'm sorry.
Sharks. In our world, all the sea creatures peacefully coexist for the most part, bringing their unique talents and abilities to the ecosystem that supports growth and longevity. Sharks and fish swim together, breaking down some of those barriers. As the surf rolls along the shoreline, the ocean is endless and the beach is welcoming and calm, like God's love. Imagine if we were to take this concept and develop a summer series. Call it something like SEE, S-E-E, or S-E-A, Sea Life Summer Series, where we would invite members of our church, our community, child care families, pantry clients, seniors, families and individuals, young people and not so young people, toddlers to teens, adults to seniors, to experience the land and sea down under, right here in Brewerton United Methodist Church. Every Tuesday evening from 6 o'clock to 8:30 for 5 weeks, starting August 4th and ending September 1st. Their travels would take them through places like the Great Barrier Reef, where we are today, to the Magnetic Island, the Blue Mountains, Daintree Rainforest, Sydney Harbor, and tying each excursion on each night to a point of interest in a Bible story or a special message that would show them how God's love can bring beauty and peace to their lives. The series would resemble the format of our Vacation Bible School, where the entire group begins the evening together and ends the evening together in some type of worship and music ministry. But the time spent in between is spent traveling to different age-appropriate stations for special activities such as adult and teen Bible study, storytelling for the children, crafts, a service project perhaps, recreation, games, and other activities. What I'm trying to sell you tonight is you're thinking about a possibility of making this happen this summer, the summer of 2015. Imagine our starting the evening by serving a family-style light dinner right here in this very room. Then we could move to our sanctuary, or if the weather is good, outside to a tent for special music, discussion of a theme, and through the words and or reenactments, then rotate to 2 to 3 different sessions where participants could be given an opportunity to explore the day's lesson through Bible studying and storytelling, these crafts, games, and other activities. The session would conclude with a closing together in the sanctuary or outside, and where everyone would come together again for music, summary of the night's lesson, and a group activity, and a foreshadowing of where they were going to be traveling the next week. The idea here, folks, is to learn what we believe that, the idea is to bring people of all ages and backgrounds in the community into our place of worship, or our home, to learn what we believe and what we know, that God's love is unconditional, and through His love, we are never alone and anything is possible. As churches strive to grow and welcome new members, it's become increasingly difficult to spread the good news of God's love to others. I believe this concept helps us meet people where they are, and in welcoming them into our church, allows them to experience firsthand all the church and its congregation and its people have to offer. So, I'm looking around. You're probably thinking, yeah, sure, how can this small little church in Brewerton, New York, even begin to get something off the ground like this? No way. Are you saying that? Everybody feeling that? Oh, Alicia, you've been there, done that. She's been there, done that. No, how many, honestly, I mean, it's a daunting task, right? Maybe not. Okay, maybe not. Hey, that's good. Hey, it's already up here. But if you're feeling like there's no way we can do it, I say we can do it. And you're supposed to say, how?
How?
If we work together, we can accomplish anything that we put our minds to. Think about it. Each one of us sitting here tonight has been blessed with one or more, or even more and more and more talents that we can share with others. Every member of every congregation has special talents that God would want us to put to good use, or as I call it, God use. Imagine what we could do if we worked together as a congregation, showcasing all of our individual gifts and talents, involving our oldest as well as our youngest members, our church families and friends, our child care family and friends, and by enlisting the expertise of each and every committee to truly becoming one in the Spirit, we can make this vision, I believe we can make this vision become a reality. And you guys
Amen.
do too, right? My mates over here, they agree.
Crikey, I agree.
Yeah, there you go. Today what we are proposing, that is, what we are proposing today to start. Let's explore how our committees can contribute their specific talents to create a summer series. Wait a minute. Take two.
Here, do you want to use these?
I know, I need them. I need them. Okay, today we'd like to start to explore this idea and talk about how our individual committees could contribute and can contribute their specific talents to create this summer series that people from our community and surrounding area will want to attend. Pastor Jack, would you like to say a few things?
Well, I was going to talk about how beginning this Sunday, we're going to do a sermon emphasis series for the month of May on living out our baptismal vows. And that's kind of be our theme for the rest of 2015. And you're going to hear about that starting Sunday. But this would fit right in with it, because we would be living out every one of our baptismal vows if we decided to really go big into this and open up the church and bring people in to tell them about the good news of Jesus Christ, which is what we're supposed to be doing here. But 3 people can't do it alone. If we're going to pull this off this summer, it's going to take an awful lot more people. And the analogy you could think of is, if we were going to try and row the boat, there need to be more than 3 of us pulling on the oars. So, we're going to tell you and pray a little bit right now about how you can get involved to help us pull the oars, so this boat is going to just sail through the water as we live out our baptismal vows.
Great, thank you very much.
Sure.
Yes, to reiterate, the only way we can pull this BHAG, those of you who have been going to the Monday session, this is what I think is a good example of a big, hairy, audacious goal, or God purpose, I don't know. And we can pull it off with everyone's help. This is the interactive portion of our presentation. So we would like to, right now, kind of list some of the tasks, and Tammy has put together a really good PowerPoint presentation that will help us. Okay, so
Do you want to start there? Did you want them to ask you
Okay,
questions?
yes, let's stop for a minute. Okay.
Okay, like the sharks.
Yes.
Go at her.
Oh, yeah.
What do you want questions? What?
What are your questions? Yes, because I'm the poor little angelfish trying to swim with you sharks.
You have to bring her down.
So what are the immediate thoughts?
So I like the idea of starting with dinner, because that makes it easier for families to show up.
Exactly, because at 6 o'clock it's...
And so the dinner's free, so there's no obligation on their part.
Right.
Is that a question?
No, I'm just, well, yeah, that was a question.
Yeah, I mean, we're
Like
hoping to get donations,
potluck kind of
things
thing?
donated, and people, pass casseroles and dishes to pass. Yes. So dinner is a plus.
Yeah, but if we're getting families from the neighborhood, you're not expecting them to bring something.
No.
Okay.
I mean, our congregation, that
Gotcha.
would be, and that's what we'll talk about. I kind of skipped over. Well, we're going to be talking about how each one of the committees within our church has, there's some, tasks that probably would come very natural to you guys. So, okay, so dinners. Guys always think about food, right?
Yeah, Methodist.
Because, and that's what, that was our thought too, is that we were gonna have people come in at 6 o'clock. We don't want them to say, well, that's dinner hour, so
Yeah,
come eat
exactly.
with us.
Sounds good.
And we can start there, and that way if people come in a little bit later, they haven't missed the actual program.
What do we get out of it?
What do you get out of it? Well, you get to do what we as good Christians are supposed to do. And we're supposed to pass on the good news of God's love and show people and reach out to those in our neighborhood. So I think this is an excellent way that we can do that, and we could do that as a unified family that we are. And I think you might even have some fun. Okay, so I'll put that out there. You can have fun while reaching to people who maybe have not been churched before, do not go to church, or have had a bad experience in church.
How are you going to invite these people?
Well, that's one of the tests that we have. We have things that we're going to go. We would look to our friends in the marketing committee, for example. They would be charged with getting the communication out. Can we put up that screen now? Okay, because we kind of anticipated some of your questions. So here's Marketing Ave and Strategy Street. So we would check out this week's bulletin. We would have something in the bulletin. We would also put it out to Facebook so that it gets out to everyone that is Facebook. Website. We would also do perhaps door-to-door canvassing of flyers and that type of thing. Really basically looking to our experts in the marketing committee to give it as much publicity as we could. Spreading the word through child care families, and I would, pantry families, and people that meet in the church, Twilight Stitchers, and the yoga and Zumba groups, and we would ask them to spread the word to their friends and their friends to their friends. So
our hope in this is that the three of us just leave it at that. It's up to the marketing department to figure out what they're going to do to promote it. So that's kind of how we're getting every group has their own.
That's our idea. Is that yep? Each group would do what their group is designed to do, and just take it out. Okay. Yes.
Sorry. Parents that come would have something to do for the whole evening, as well as their children.
Yep.
Separately or together?
Yes. Okay. Very
Age
good question.
appropriate. I wrote that down.
What we're envisioning is we would all start out together, multi-generational dinner, and then into some type of an opening thing, and then we would break out, and this is where we would need different people to do different things. We would have a Bible storytelling for the youngest kids. We'd have that set up. We would have a older children Bible study, a teen Bible study, an adult Bible study type thing, and then they would travel to another area that might be a craft, and we would do a craft, or we would do outdoor recreation. So it would be similar. A lot of you have participated and know about like Vacation Bible School that we've run for the children, and we're still going to do that this year as part of the child care program. But this will encompass all multi-generationals, and people can come together with their families, and there is going to be. Our intent is to have something for everyone, for every age group, and multiple things for them to do, so that there would be a reason to come back week after week. That's what we're trying to do. We're trying, and by tying into the Australia thing, yeah, we just came back from Australia, but you could do it any country. But it kind of brings them, they can travel to Australia in addition to learning about God and hearing things. So there's more in it for them. Maybe they've always dreamt of going to Australia. So, maybe that's the pull they need. Like, wow, this isn't like church. They don't talk about, traveling. So that's part of the psyche, if you will, behind it, is that it's more than just coming here and worshiping. It's coming here and learning about the world and meeting new people and having something to, something to do for the evening that is fun and exciting.
What are the dates for that?
What we had talked about was the August, starting in August. It would be every Tuesday in August. So I believe it is,
August 4th to
August
9/1.
4th, yep.
To 9/1.
right, and it would end September 1st.
Now, would each week be different so that if you missed one, you wouldn't?
Right, yes, each week would be a different thing, and we would in the closing ceremony, we would kind of forecast what the next week would be. So yes, it would be totally different each week. The format would be the same, but the content would differ. There would be a new Bible reference, a new lesson. You know, I'm looking at not just sitting and reading Bible. I'm looking at, if you were in church when Tammy and Craig did their reenactment of the prodigal son in modern day terms, that's the kind of stuff. We're looking for drama. We're looking for skits that speak to the different things, not just sitting up there and reading scripture, but actually acting it out, and and that's good for old and young.
Who drives that? How the different components of a given service? Who's in charge of like putting those together and deciding how it's done?
What do you
Like if somebody's going to develop a skit, is there somebody who's in
right?
charge?
Well,
of
I
doing
think
that?
our lay leader team would be ultimately would be there to help and kind of pull things together. We would be kind of your facilitators, if you will.
Are you talking 2 hours, 3 hours?
Mhm.
What kind
2.5
of time?
hours.
6 to
6
8:30.
o'clock to 8:30. 6 o'clock, and we would start again with the dinner and programming. So 2.5 hours, and fill that. And beyond just our committees, and we look for families within the church to come forward and offer up whatever they wanted to do to help this along. But we would look to people like the Twilight Stitchers also, and Zumba, and the groups that meet here in this church to offer some of their things. Jack had the idea of perhaps creating a quilt. The Twilight Stitchers doing a quilt, and each square of that quilt would be made by each person that attended. Mm-hmm. So we could put that quilt together, and that could be a real visual representation of what we as a group and all those that attended did in the summer of 2015. So we're looking to really shake things up a little bit, because that's kind of what we feel is necessary to really get some new life in here, and reach those people who may not have thought to come in here, or have been afraid to for whatever reason.
Has this been some other churches have done this? I mean, where'd this idea come from?
Holy Spirit.
Deb's ears.
Okay, well, I just wondered if anybody had ever tried
This is going to sound really crazy, but it came to me in a vision.
Okay.
I'll just say that. The idea, because Vacation Bible School, actually, it was my fear of Vacation Bible School that brought this to the forefront. Because I'm like, oh my gosh, another year of Vacation Bible School, I don't have enough, volunteers, blah, blah, blah. And then I thought, you know what, we could do this, if I had all this help and all these people, we could do a family Vacation Bible School. We're still going to offer Vacation Bible School for childcare families, and offer it as a special program to the community, that they can sign up to be part of our childcare program for the week of Vacation Bible School. That's not going to go away. But it was really my fear that, this Vacation Bible School was getting a little too big for 1 or 2 or 5 or 6 or 9 people. And then I thought about all you guys and all the talents that we have, and we've attempted to do worship during the summer, and we had some attendance, and it was a good program, but I just felt the push that we could do better. We could really knock this out of the park. And then the Dare to Dream series came out, and Tammy and Jack were talking, and we were talking about the whole idea of renewing your baptismal vows, and how it's important to remember why we were baptized, and it just kind of came.
And that was kind of coupled with something that we've been contemplating for a few months, about how we have such great leadership in this church, that committees are led by the people, and there isn't really any cross, like the music people don't really do things with this group, and that, so that
Yeah.
we're figuring that this way we're all going to become one. It's going to be a unifying experience for our church, as well as bringing people in. So we just thought it would be a nice kind of mix to get people maybe that are not involved on committees in from the congregation to have a fun experience.
Right. And the committees may find new people wanting to be part of their committees too. I mean, it has that potential. Yes.
I was wondering why you wanted to do it so late in the summer, because my concern is that like 2 of those weeks are going to be the fair, and then the last week kids are going to be back in school.
Well, we're not married to the dates, I guess. We were just thinking, to give enough pre-planning.
I think we're not, the kids' VBS isn't starting until July. That's kind of why I guess we started
and we
there,
could,
but
we could do it in July. We could do it in July. Yeah, I mean, we just were trying to give ourselves enough time to get this off the road because tomorrow's May 1st. but yeah, your concerns are valid because I forgot about the New York State Fair and we can't compete with that.
Your potluck isn't going to do sausage with peppers and onions.
Have a meeting at
No, that's true.
There's nothing going on at the grandstand this year, so we won't have that to compete with.
At all?
Just one comment on Judy's question too, and Jack maybe can add to this, but there's a lot of churches that have gone to this family-style vacation Bible school in the last couple of years, where the families are included.
A lot of churches have gone to nighttime vacation Bible school because people aren't available during the day to bring their kids. So this would kind of follow that pattern.
And the other thing I'd mention...
Sorry.
No, go ahead.
Would we market this to other churches in the area too? And
that would be up to our marketing department.
Our marketing
Decisions would be made. We're hoping that
departments
the
here now.
decisions as you'll go through the
Does he have an
PowerPoint
office?
in a minute, would be made by the specific groups that's their expertise.
Yep. So if there's going to be a worship component, then
We're getting
the music people have to plan it.
right.
Pick the songs and rehearse it and come up with whoever's going to do it.
Yeah, are there any other questions? Because we...
Sharks are being easy tonight.
Yeah, they are.
What is it Kevin says? Kevin says, he would say, aren't you worried that you're going to overwork people who are already busy here at the church doing this?
Well, I say I know these people, and they always seem to have time for the important things in life.
Okay.
Politician.
So just to kind of give you an idea of how it would work with each of the individual committees taking responsibility for certain facets of this, the evangelism, making disciples of Christ, we would look to them to get the word out, basically to, I think we were talking about them maybe doing the door-to-door marketing, right? And then once the actual event occurs, they would become the greeters. They would also welcome people with name tags and have you. And then we saw them as the natural ones to be our crew leaders. And the crew leader is somebody that takes each group and takes them from station to station to station so nobody gets lost in the shuffle. So
it doesn't mean you have to be there every week. In your committee,
No.
you have groups of 4 or 5 people, or you're just in charge of getting somebody from the congregation to do that. It doesn't have to be somebody on your committee, but the committee is in charge of handling.
And the evangelism committee would have the benefit of knowing everybody's name and address. It would be like a, they could sign in. So it's an excellent opportunity to follow up with people that attend and
We already did
start from there.
marketing.
Yeah, marketing. Did you have any questions on marketing?
Not yet.
He's a whale.
He's a whale.
Is finance here?
Yep, Ed's here.
Okay,
That's
that's
right
right.
for finance. Okay.
Okay, so finance, there would, we see finance as usually, going with money, but this time we would see them as securing snack and craft items through solicitation or possibly purchase, but really to maybe ask for donations and get those type of things, put together, manage a special offering perhaps that would help us defray the costs of things, allow seed money for startup,
Which we actually do have some money in a Vacation Bible School fund, which is about $600 that Deb has carried over.
As allocated for Vacation Bible School. And also perhaps participate as crew leaders as well. They would basically be responsible for reimbursing expenses and whatever, but you know, giving them something other than just to worry about money all the time. They could explore other things, and if within the committee, if there's other things that that committee would like to do, we'd like no more than, or we'd like to hear about it, and I'm sure we could work it out. Okay, so we see the Sunday school, child care board, and director, and family ministries operating kind of in a trinity, if you will. Sorry.
That's a good church word.
Because it's there that you know, we deal with the children, and in family ministries we deal with families. So we would look to those three groups working together independently, but getting, you know, basically on. Thank you. Participating in the staffing each week. So, you know, you would be the ones that would be teaching some of the classes, the Bible stories, the Bible telling, the handling registration perhaps, handling some of the programming, assisting with groups. What am I missing? Yeah, so basically, you know, looking to you guys to kind of come up with program ideas. You know, it can be skits, whatever, but
Crafts.
What's that?
Crafts.
Crafts,
Kind of stuff
yeah,
for the
crafts,
kids.
yeah.
You had crafts on your phone.
That was to help secure crafts. You guys would be actually doing them.
This doesn't have, these are just our.
Yeah, these are
words worth of ideas.
Yeah, exactly. So please don't take these as this is my job, because we're just saying this is what came to our minds, but our minds are about this big right now. So
You ready,
so,
Beth?
all right. Drum roll, please. United Methodist Women.
I can't believe that.
Prepare and cook the weekly meal. Serve the meal, and first of all, plan the meal. Okay, and again, we would be looking, you know, for donations of food items and that type of thing. So, you know, and we would emphasize light meal as opposed to, you know, no 3-course meals.
And again, the group doesn't need to do it all.
No,
They just need to take
they're
responsibility for
finding
making
somebody
sure it gets done.
So you say, okay, we're doing, this is on our menu.
So
blah,
maybe
blah, blah.
one week they find a family in the church that will do a picnic. Underwrite a hot dog roast or something. And then
There
it's
it
done.
is. Yeah.
We did that a lot last
We did.
year for our Wednesday. We had somebody bring ice cream for Sundays.
Yeah,
and
exactly. And a lot of the ideas that we used at that Wednesday worship are kind of, you might see some similarities here, but it's just taking it that one step further, or a couple steps further. Trustees!
Look at that.
Okay, because we're going to use this building, the child care portion, the playground, the lawn, we would look to our trustees to do what they do quite well in maintaining the building, parking lot, playground, you know, so that it looks as good as it can possibly look for anybody coming in here. Keep the outside mode so that we can play games like throwing a
Frisbee?
No.
Oh.
No. My God. Boomerang.
Boomerang.
And they do
Boomerang.
come back. They do come back to you. So, and we also have a special guest or two that could help teach us some of the Aussie ways that, you know, who has been experiencing it for the last couple of months. And we're even talking about possibly purchasing a tent for this church's use, because in the past we've had to go to Cicero to get their tent. But we may be able to do something with unallocated memorial money. That's just a thought
would
there.
also be finance trustee.
Trustee, right. So the trustees would, you know, that's what we see, but there may be other things as well. And the worship team, which is part of the music ministries.
Hey, that's amazing.
Yeah. Amazing. We would look to the worship team to plan, play, sing, act, preach, and to deliver the message. N-O, practice, oh, practice.
The bottom one
Oh,
should
and the
say
practice.
God-powered drama, but.
God-powered drama, right. But again, if, we would look for people within our congregation that have an acting bug, that have always wanted to act and just never had the opportunity, so that would be a good invitation. Somebody that...
I think we call them hams.
Somebody who has always wanted to, preach a little bit or say, or get in front of people and practice their public speaking. Be an excellent opportunity. It could be a teen. It could be somebody, junior in college looking to boost their skills or something. The possibilities are endless.
Yes, they are.
And then again, involving outside groups, and we could do that and perhaps do a project, a mission project, utilizing the talents of those people. We could have a little session with Zumba where they'd never done Zumba before, but they want to try, and we could introduce them to that. Yoga meets here. We've already talked about the possibility of Twilight Stitchers, because uniquely they are part of they're under our umbrella now, right? The Twilight Stitchers.
Correct.
So they're always looking to do things within our church. So again, as Pastor Jack shared with us just a little while ago, this through prayer, presence, gifts, service, and witness. By doing this, we could be truly living out our baptismal vows in all those ways, just by doing, I shouldn't say just by doing, but by really concentrating and putting our hearts, our minds, our bodies, and our hands into this as a unified, one, United Methodist Church.
So what sharks are in? All right. Come on, sharks.
We need some sharks. We're going to commit.
Okay.
If the sharks don't commit, we can't do it.
Sharks that are not in. Any questions?
Yeah, I see some hesitation over here. And
that's okay.
That's okay. That's okay. I mean, it's a lot to swallow.
Deb, can I just it's summertime too.
Yeah.
For the families or the
no, absolutely not.
Okay,
no, absolutely not. No, that's why we would look to underwrite it somehow and get donations and that type of thing. Yeah, I think
you did mention registration, and then
really
just to keep track of things. Right?
I just see that as a point of evangelizing down the road, that we would have their names, addresses, phone numbers, that type of thing, so that we would move forward. But no fee. No fee. No. Who wants to think about it more? Who's thought about it and said no way?
I just have a question.
Yeah.
You wanted it to be like one day a week, just to spread it out over the summer.
Mm-hmm.
You didn't want to do just 1 week out of the summer?
I think that might be too hard from a scheduling standpoint to get people to volunteer for that. Again, that would take us back to like Vacation Bible School, where people are just can't commit a whole week. But if they could commit one night of every week for 5 weeks, and we're saying 5 weeks. I mean, it could be 4 weeks. I mean, no, it's not. This is, we're coming to you first. You people sitting right here in this room are the first ones to hear this idea. I mean, we haven't gone any further than this, because we wanted to let the leaders of our church in on what we're thinking, and you can. You're going to set the stage. If you guys don't buy into it, it's going to be difficult to make it happen, to be truthful.
We need every committee to
We need every committee to commit
Maybe you
to
should
it.
shorten the time, maybe 3 weeks or something like that. Because
Okay.
like Elaine says, it's summertime, and
Yeah,
I'm on more than
people
one.
don't have to be there every week.
No,
I'm on
no.
more than one organization.
Right, and you don't have to be here every week. And, and that's why a committee has more than one person, so that you could trade off. Maybe you do the first
on your committee each week.
Yeah. What's that?
They could actually have one person on
Each week, yeah.
Or you get somebody that's not on your committee.
Right, exactly. Yeah, and this would be, I mean, look at it in terms of it may be a good way to get people to work with you on your committee and then want to be on your committee. You know what I mean? Like ask people to volunteer to help. Oh, no. Maybe I'd like to be on that committee. So, I mean, it has potential. It can go as far as we let it go. And, you know, we can take a giant leap and really, you know, really jump in with both feet. And that's what I'd like to do.
Amen.
Okay, but that's just me.
I'll jump with you.
Thank you. All right, I got another jumper. Do I have another jumper? Well, you guys are easy. You're jumping. Who's jumping with me? Thank you. I saw your hands before. So you can't change your minds now.
You can't unjump once you're airborne.
Okay.
started talking about jumping now.
Well, jumping into the water.
Yeah, okay.
But those of you who still have questions, you know, we'll cut this presentation.
What do you propose, that we take this back to our committees and let them all in on what, I mean, are you going to present this to anyone else, or do we take it, go back to our?
Whether we're going to do this or not.
Yeah, I think before we leave tonight, we need to vote to see if there's,
Well,
if there's a,
I think you should present it to the whole congregation on
okay.
Sunday or something like that, and say what they think about it. I mean, after all, we're going to be going to them to volunteer.
Mm-hmm.
Do you have
Do
all the
that.
books and stuff, just like Vacation Bible School and everybody?
No, but we would work with other materials. I do have the Kid Vacation Bible School is Outback Adventure, so that ties in the Australia thing. That's why we thought if we keep that, we can keep it consistent.
Mm-hmm.
But we would, there's all kinds of materials and things that we could use for various themes for each day, and just using our brain power to figure out how to put all the pieces together. That's the fun part of it, is putting all the pieces together.
I was just thinking of the Bible stories. How they had something to go on Vacation Bible School, had something to go by. That was
Yes.
nice, just something to follow.
Right, and we have all kinds of Vacation Bible School materials and things, so that should not be a problem at all. And I can help, we're here to help too. I mean, we're not going to just sit back and say, okay, you committees do it. I mean,
Have you thought of themes for each week?
no, not yet. No, not yet.
Still in the plan.
We just kind of put this into motion, earlier this week?
Yeah.
Yeah. It's been a whirlwind, let me tell you. Right, Ryan? It's been a whirlwind. But, it's a work in progress. But we thought before we go any further, we wanted to hear what your comments, suggestions were, what your, and kind of weigh here what your feelings are and whether this has merit to continue.
When we try to do things like this in the past, to varying degrees of success, we always kind of leave it saying, okay, was that successful or was it not?
Mm-hmm.
Was what we did last summer successful or not? It was probably successful for the people who showed up to it,
Right.
but it probably wasn't the numbers that we wanted.
Right. And
But have you thought about what the benchmarks of success for this would be? So you can gauge whether or not it's actually accomplishing what you want it to accomplish.
okay.
I'm not asking for an answer right now.
No,
I'm just saying I
but
think
that
that's
would
an
be something
important
to look
component.
at. Right.
Because I think when people go back to committees and ask people to work on this and help make it successful, I think it's important that you also state what the goal of it is.
Right.
So, if you can envision what the vision is and state that, and do the elevator speech, I think it's easier to get people motivated to do it.
Okay. Point well taken. Thank you.
Just a comment, of course, the goal.
Last year it was great, but we didn't get the attendance that we should.
Right, exactly.
Trying
So,
to, all these communities all around us, how to get thrown in.
And what did we get? We got mostly church people, right?
mhm.
There were very, very
There
few
were some
outsiders.
families that came, and but
Because they knew somebody or whatever,
Right.
but it wasn't a big,
no.
Or they knew who was performing.
But obviously the goal is to evangelize, and the closest thing to evangelize is the neighborhood.
Mm-hmm.
And we got one family that came out of last
Seed
summer.
planted.
The seed was planted. Yeah.
And so we got one family, I think that's success,
Yeah, Yeah, and there's that new apartment complex. I don't know what the due date of it being up is September. Okay.
I mean, all the
Maybe next
vision,
year's.
all the vision teams I've been on since Alan was here, it's always been, how do we get this local community to come to this church? Why don't they come? You know, because there's only a few folks that live around here that actually come. Everybody else is from outside the area. Why can't we somehow touch this neighborhood? So this is another chance to do it.
You know, it's another, you know, it's a fairly different approach, I think, and maybe by virtue of that, it might pique somebody's interest that may be like, yeah, I've been there before, and yeah, it was good, but not really. But I'm hoping the whole, you know, introduction of the travel part of it, and, you know, really go to, because we have pictures and things that we could do, you know, video presentation, you know, showing slides, showing actual pictures of the Great Barrier Reef. I mean, I was snorkeling down there, and it was amazing. We have underwater pictures and all that. So, you know, that's kind of an opportunity that we have to share those kind of things.
I think there's also, you know, it is a BHAG.
Mm-hmm. It is a BHAG.
But there's also something, you know, if it's a program that we want to sustain itself, there's also nothing wrong with, if it ends up being, you know, a heavier lift than people are willing to take on, doing a pilot program, you know, scaling it down a little bit, maybe shorter sessions, maybe fewer weeks than 5, maybe a little bit less aggressive on the scheduling and stuff, but still very aggressively marketing it to see if you can actually draw people. And then if you can prove that it can be successful and it's doing some of the things that you want it to do, then blow it out next year.
Yeah.
You know?
Or could you even like say schedule 3 weeks, and then if it's successful,
add 2 weeks or add another week.
By popular demand.
Encore.
Yeah, nothing's cast in concrete at this point. This is why we came to you for these kind of feedback. So yeah, absolutely.
The first thing that struck me is I just think 2.5 hours is too long.
Okay.
I just don't think you're going to get people to commit to that length of time on a summer night.
Okay.
And that's just my initial thought on that.
So what would you say would be a?
You can do the dinner in a half an hour.
Right.
You know, maybe an hour and a half or an hour and 45. But I think 2.5 is a little long. It might scare people away.
If it stays longer, you know, it's no big deal. But just make it, like you said, an hour and a half. And then if everybody's having fun, they might stay. You never know.
BBS, we switched every 20 minutes, right?
Yeah.
So you could do maybe 15 or just get in more in an hour.
And we can
Or
play
do
around
fewer
with
things.
different formats and things.
Or do like 3 20-minute sessions instead, however many you plan.
Yeah.
But maybe afterwards, you know, sometimes.
Well, I wouldn't do any more than 3 sessions anyway, 2 or 3 sessions.
As we know,
how long they were.
Sometimes the most important time in a situation like this is the fellowship time afterwards. And maybe that's where the extra time is. If people spend extra time and they want to stay, but if people need to leave, they can.
They can, right.
They will not have missed anything.
Okay. And that's why, you know, starting with the dinner is kind of a built-in fellowship time before, so, you know, people can get together and talk over dinner and then, you know, stay if they want to talk afterwards, but then look forward to seeing each other again the next time. So, thank you.
You're talking about the skits, maybe that could be the Bible story?
Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely, yes. Yeah.
Bible simulation.
Bible simulation. Randy's got the book.
The sky's the limit. There's really no, we do it the way we feel comfortable, and that's where each of the committees is, you know what you feel comfortable doing, and that's what we would look to, your expertise, and you know, do what you feel in your heart. I mean, that's what it's all about.
The other suggestion is if you're going to go with the Australia theme, you know, and you're already doing Outback Adventure, which is Australia themed for VBS, why not tie it directly into that? It's almost like phase 1, phase 2. Like phase 1 is Outback Adventure for the kids program.
Yeah. Well, and the kids would be invited, sure. Yes. That's what we hope would happen, that the kids had such a great time in Vacation Bible School that they say, Mom, Dad, I want to come to to the summer series.
Right, but you basically develop, maybe you're already thinking in this direction, but you would develop this program out of those materials.
Yeah.
And that's what you're thinking.
Yeah, that's what we're thinking. Yeah,
Right.
that's what we're thinking. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, we just have to do multi-generational, because this is geared to children.
Right.
But that's, yeah. But yeah, exactly. There was no accident at Australia. There was certainly no accident. I picked Australia for this.
Great Brewerton Reef.
I like that. It's right over here in front of the new complex.
We can go out and get some kayaks and float around out there, get some inner tubes.
There's some new dock on the racetrack.
Should we take a vote?
Do you want to vote? We can do that?
Well, I just want a sense
We wanna-
of, should we go forward, or do we have enough?
I still think you ought to present it to the congregation, let them be part of this.
Congregation, okay. So you guys don't feel comfortable speaking
I
on
don't.
behalf
I
of the
don't either.
congregation? You don't?
I
either?
don't.
Okay. Anybody here does everybody here feel the same way about that?
Can't hurt.
Yeah. It can't hurt, yeah.
Open more communications with everybody.
Maybe I could read my phone next time.
If we had everybody talking about it, and not just a segment, if we had
Right.
everybody talking about it,
There would be
I think it would
energy.
get more energy.
Okay.
That's the way I feel. I feel like I don't want to make a decision for all those
for all
people
of those
around me.
people. Okay,
I don't know how they feel.
That's a good point. So we can take it on to the congregation and
Squeeze us in sometime.
squeeze us in sometime there.
We need
Yeah.
our open communications.
Okay, yeah.
We'll look at a Sunday in May when we can do something instead of the sermon. Did I say that? No.
Could we even do it?
Even if just someone gets up on
It's true, we
Sunday
can
and
do it at coffee hour.
explains the concept of what we would like to do, and just put it out there.
Out there.
Put it out there. Leave it
Yeah.
and just let people talk about it among
We could set
themselves,
up
and
a
then bring us
display in
back
here
together at some point
people
and
come
say,
out to fellowship time and get a cup of coffee and look at the display and maybe have a PowerPoint loop it or something and talk to people.
But how are you going to get a
I would think-
feedback to know whether they're interested or not then, or if they would support it?
You should do that one week and then the next week talk about it. In
Like
the
do the
service.
presentation.
Okay.
Yeah, so.
The
the bulk of
previous
it.
week, you may want to try and something in the bulletin and during the church service of saying, how would you like to participate in a trip to Australia at no cost to you? And
Write
come
that
next
down.
week and find out.
Yeah, got a good one there.
and share your talents. I think people
Share your talents.
share their talents. There's so
Exactly.
many talented people here that wouldn't think, what could I share?
Exactly.
What could I offer someone that doesn't know anything about us or
Okay, right, so challenge them to be thinking of what they want to bring to this endeavor. I like that. I think that has
Let's just say even
potential.
just something quick this week, come hear about our BHAG. People that are not in the Monday
the Monday
study will wonder
study.
what the heck a BHAG is.
Right. Okay,
They might come.
okay.
Okay.
Thank you all very much and for all of your listening and thoughts and great questions.
Thank you, Deb.
Thanks,
Thank
Debbie.
you.
Thank you.
Thank you,
Okay.
Debbie.